be allowed to invest in tobacco.
But yeah, they're into a lot of other shit too.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if I own that anymore. I had Pfizer stock.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, Viagra, Kraft macaroni and cheese, and fucking cigarettes. Sure.
Just the stock market itself, like just trying to pay attention to that too, on top of all the other shit you're supposed to be paying attention to. You're supposed to be paying attention to stocks and bonds, and up and down. And,
yeah, I stopped paying attention because I'd get these calls where he's moving it into this, and I don't know, and then I have to fucking look up if it's up or down. And I don't.
Well, if you're working on your act, and if you're working on if you're gonna do your podcast, you're working on your act, you're getting ready to go on the road, you're going over your material, how much fucking time do you have to pay attention to the stock market and really know what you're investing in, and really doing the research on the company?
Oh, I don't.
Of course.
No.
It's crazy.
I get reports and I see if this number is higher than this number.
There's just no fucking time, Douglas. There's no time.
You know what? For you, there's no time. Because you do a lot of shit, and you're very ambitious. To an almost pathological extent. Where I have all the fucking time in the world, and I'm always riddled with anxiety. Like, I do nothing, but I can't enjoy it. It's not like I'm relaxed. Like there's something I should be doing all the time to where I'm paralyzed in bed because I don't know what it is I should be doing. I know there's something.
Well, I think if you do more things, that feeling goes away. Like if you do things that you're like really tuned into, things that are like require your attention, then the anxiety of not doing things goes away. Then it just becomes a matter.
But then you're doing things.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy doing nothing. Like I told you, after this week, by the time this airs, it'll be Monday, and I will be retired. And I do this as often as I can. Every few years, I quit comedy in my mind, where I have nothing on the books. I have no dates booked. Now I don't have an act. I have used this act in every fucking English-speaking place that I've done, all of the U.S., and now I've done everything international. I've done fucking expats in Vietnam have heard this fucking act, and I have to start from scratch, and we talked about this. You're starting a new hour.
Yeah, it's ruthless. It's a ruthless process.
So I want to have that moment mentally where I can do anything in the world right now. I can fuck off. I could write another book, or I could, but I have no commitment.
Yeah.
And just having that. And I still won't enjoy it because I'll just sit there anxiety fueled going, I should do something.
Well, we're always looking for a break. We're always looking for that moment of relaxation, a moment of just, But sometimes your brain is wired.
For me, that means having nothing. Like, I don't want to have a gig booked a fucking year from now.
So when you do that, do you feel good? You've done it a few times. Do you feel good?
I can make it a few months. I'm not a person who needs to be on stage.
Right.
I can not do that, but I have to do something.
Do you get bored?
Roger that. Fighters
No,
going
I
live.
drink too much. Because I have no reason not to. Hey, sure, mimosas at 11. Well, that's
Fighters
not going to stop.
deployed. Awaiting
Well, you've written
orders.
2 books now.
On the lookout, Commander.
Do you write
Stand
books
by
during
for
those
hostile
periods?
contact.
Or do you just write them during normal times?
I wrote those 2 books because I agreed to cash the check first. Then you have to. I'm not a guy who does things on spec. Hey, this is a great idea for a TV show. You write it up and shop it around. No. I get the check first, or I sign the contract first, or I agree to do the gig first, and then go, oh, fuck, I'm going to have to say before I do that tour. But again, I have minimal needs. My shit's paid for, and I don't have kids. I'm not in a pickle like you.
No, you've done it really well as far as your time, your freedom. You got it in a good place. You're very smart. You didn't do anything stupid. Get drunk.
Live low.
Yeah, just live smart. Fix our clothes. Live in a small town. It's a good way to do it, man. I mean, I think what I see that I don't have right now is things.
Enemy
You should
is
have less
eliminated,
things
Commander.
to do.
It was,
Probably be
it was
better.
so much fun to watch you at that, the show you did, the stand up off the top of your head.
Oh, stand up on the spot.
Stand
Yeah.
up on the spot.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, it's really fun. Come on up. And yeah, you just, and I saw you do that the last time I was in town, and it was fucking brilliant. I go, that was just, you were just riffing that? That's not, because you were talking about, yeah, I only have like 10 minutes. Like, I'm trying to write a new act, and I only have like 10 minutes of good material. And then I watched you do 10 minutes off the fucking top of your head that was brilliant, but it was really funny to see you in that back bar going, yeah, but I gotta be fucked up to do it. Hammering drinks.
You kind of have to be. I've done that show sober. It's you want to be super high and at least 2 drinks in. That's what you want. You want to be lit. You don't want to be too lit because then you go down a dumb path. It doesn't really work. Like you want to be lit enough that you're lubed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're lubed, but you're still moving good. You still like go, oh, okay. Here's what's wrong with that. Boom. And then you go right into it. Like
Just start talking and wait for the funny words to come out. Don't pause.
Yeah, don't think about
Don't
it too
think,
much.
just
think about
start
it too much.
talking.
Just exercise those weird improvisational muscles, you know. But it doesn't always work. The last one was not good. I did one like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. It was the last one. It wasn't good. I got nothing out of it. Sometimes you just get nothing.
Do you record?
Yeah, always. That you get these gems out of that show where you're like, oh, geez, this is my next 5 minutes. I got it. It's right there. I know where this goes. This is going to go to that, and that'll go to this, and I can tie it all together.
I record, but to get to that gem, if I just did an hour and 40 minutes, hammered it, and there's 3 things. Usually, Bingo used to be on the road with me, and she would sit in the back with a yellow legal pad, and she knows my act. So if I come up with something new, she'll write that down, and the next day in the van, go, oh, you said this, you said this. I'm like, oh, fuck, that's great. And you don't have to listen to yourself and cringe for fucking
But
90
you know
minutes.
what, dude? Here's the thing. Listening to yourself and cringing is good for the act.
Oh, I know. It's the best thing.
Yeah, it's
The
good for
best
the
thing you
act.
can do, but at the same time, I hate myself so much that it's disheartening. Where I go, is that what I sound like? I shouldn't do this. I fucking suck.
Familiarity breeds contempt. And when it's yourself, too, if you're going to be worth a fuck, you're going to be hypercritical of yourself. It's just a fact. So you're watching or listening to yourself and just like, oh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the worst.
I heckle myself alone, listening to myself in Dropbox, and I'm like, just get to the fucking point. Yelling at myself.
What do you record with? Do you record with your phone?
Jaylee records.
You just use an MP3 player or something?
The little unit that we for on the road, and we just bring 2 mics to podcast on that little thing.
Oh, like a
Two-
Zoom? Yeah.
Yeah, the Zoom.
Yeah, that'll be
I think it's
better.
that.
I do it on my phone just so I have them there all the time, and then I listen to them on my way home. I have a ritual. I listen to the set on the way home, unless I don't have to. Like if I do a set, I'm like, no, it's just a textbook.
Yeah.
Just my book.
Autopilot.
But if there was some new bit or one of those stand-up on the spot shows, I listen to it all the way home, and then once I get home, then I'll break out the laptop and start writing. Just like, all right, I got the spark. And I just feel like a lot of it is just throwing shit against the wall until something sticks. And if you're not out there
Enemy
throwing
is
shit,
eliminated, Commander.
it's not gonna stick.
Yeah.
You know, but while you're doing it, you're like, I can't believe I'm throwing all this shit. But then swat.
Well, a lot of
them-
times when you get so bored with a bit, like that, this, like any special, I probably have 3. All right, this, I have to do these 3 bits, but then you're tired of them, and then I just start fucking around with it,
Yeah.
just to make it interesting for me, and that's a lot of the times where you find, oh, this works.
Yeah. Sometimes it works better, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you find. I mean, comedy is one of those weird things you have to do it in front of people. You can write, you can get seeds, but you got to plant those seeds in the dirt. There's no way. It's the only way. Occasionally I'll come up with a bit and it's set up at the punchline, boom, it's done. And you can bring it to the stage and it never changes.
This was my first show in the States. Since March, I started in Southeast Asia, then Australia, then Canada, and then the UK. And I go, I know a lot of these tags are gonna fucking work if I ever get back to the States. This is not getting what it should get. And it's also, and there was other bits. Last night was my first show in the States where I'm really excited to see it. Usually it's the opposite, where I go, I don't know if any of this is going to work, but now it's like, I can't wait to see what works, like what people will get offended at, that they don't give a fuck in Australia. It's never too brutal there, but then with the seismic shift in the political and social landscape now.
It really is been seismic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my audience is pretty much immune to that.
Yeah.
Where, hey, you can't talk about this anymore. I can. But
it reinforces your audience. It reinforces your relationship with the audience. They know, oh, well, Doug will give us the real deal. He'll give us real comedy. It requires occasionally offense.
Yeah, and I don't have a sponsor or sanction me.
Fire you for anything. It's the weirdest time ever for getting fired. People are getting fired for things that don't make any sense.
Not popular enough to get protested. People try to. I think it will be good for.
Well, Jamie, was it you that said that Kanye West, that people are calling the area, the time we live in, cancel culture? This is cancel culture. Everybody is just like they cancel Roseanne Barr. Cancel that bitch.
I was talking to you about it. At the same time, I have to watch how I phrase things because I don't want that fucking Nazi element. And I'm talking hyperbole. Yeah, they're not Nazis. There are people that are fucking Nazis. I don't want that group. I am not anti-Me Too by any means, although I do make jokes about it, and I have great material, and it's almost like the fucking Me Too movement has pushed the fucking MAGA people into my court. Like, hey, fucking move them over here.
That's funny. Yeah. It's a funny time. It's a time of great communication, for good or for bad, and probably for both. But there's more communication going on right now than pretty much ever, any time that I could ever remember.
I'm furrowing my brow at what you mean by communication, because I think
Just
there's a lot of disinformation.
I'm not saying like spectacular lines of thinking that lead to transformative
Open
shifts
dialogue.
in culture. But is it just yapping? More people are yapping in comments, yapping on Twitter, yapping on Facebook, they're yapping on Instagram. There's more yapping. There's more blogs and yapping and video yapping. There's more communication.
There's a lot of opinions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
My Twitter feed where you go, hey, I used to write jokes on here. And
I know. Well, Ari put a whole thing about all these comedians like saying things that aren't even remotely funny about issues. It's
and how uninformed are a lot of those opinions. Like, if you questioned a lot of these comics, like 3 levels below the surface, how much do you really know about this issue that you're speaking about? Because I remember when I was vaguely, not even political, but I was really like into the libertarian thing, and like, if you question, and I was open about it, listen, everything I know on that subject is the bit that I did. If you question, that's just surface knowledge enough to make it funny, and then I move on. I'm not home studying this shit afterwards. Like, I know enough to make a salient point, which I can stand behind, but if you had me on a panel talking about it, now all I know is the bit. That was the extent of my knowledge with a fist fuck joke at the end.
Again, there's too much shit to know. There's no way you can There's no way. If you have an actual job, an actual life, and friends, and shit you like to do, there's no way. So we got a bunch of people that are arguing about shit that barely informed.
And my brain is beaten to a pulp. Where I read a book. 2 days later, I remember if I liked it or not. And I might remember one fact from that I can turn into a bit.
Right.
And then,
yeah. What do you think your brain is occupying? Like, how do you think it's operating? Do you think your brain is operating at 50% of what it was when you were 21? 75%?
I care about it a lot less. So, well, I mean, a lot of this in age, where I blame the alcohol probably as much as I should, but I know people that are my age that they can't remember a fucking thing and they don't drink.
Well, I think too many things happen. It's a process. You know, they have that thing where you can keep a certain amount of people in your
Enemy
brain.
is down.
Dunbar's number. Keep a certain amount of people, like in your tribe, like 150 people. You can keep intimate relationships with 150 people in your brain. I bet that's the case with life experiences too. I bet that's the case with information. I bet that's the case with, I think you only have a certain amount of database space in your brain. And I think some people really exercise it and expand the capacity and get it pretty impressive. But there's still only room for a certain amount of shit. There's just, if you're really paying attention to some things, the other things you kind of half-ass. It's just the way of being a person. We're not designed for you know, a perfect output in every single category of things that we do. We're designed to pay a lot of attention to some things, and as long as like food and shelter is taken care of, kind of barely pay attention to other things.
Yeah.
That's what we do most. But today, the chatter, the yapping back and forth, and people wanting to be right. I mean, I watch battles, like Twitter battles, all day long sometimes. Just watch these people go back and forth. Everybody just trying to be right. That's never happened before. There was never this much, because people are doing this mostly probably while they're at work, right? They're supposed to be doing other shit, and like, oh yeah, well, I'll show you, you fucking piece of shit, you fucking Nazi, you know, and they're just typing shit at each other and going back and forth with each other when they're not getting anything done.
I'll have someone like I have it's an old bit about nationalism, but because of the current climate, people tweet that clip a lot. And then because my name is in, then they start an intellectual Twitter war, which is the worst, when people are using big words and fucking lots of facts and, you know, excerpts from Smart Fuck magazine in a Twitter battle. Like, it's one thing, yeah, fuck your mother and my team's better than your team and that shit. But when they're having these intellectual discourses about, you know, whatever, you know, fucking climate change or, you know, nationalism or immigration, but they keep me in the fucking thing because it started with a YouTube clip, so my name, my handle is in there, and they don't take me out of the fucking thing, so I'm involved in these long threads between two assholes who are trying to outsmart each other. You're doing this on Twitter. You can't have a legitimate argument. That's what I told Roseanne. Don't fucking try to tweet your way out of this.
Right.
If you're gonna tweet at all, just keep tweeting crazy shit till it puts the tweet in question into this fog of war. Just, if I was like a fucking cleaner.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
I would have flown to her house. If I was Ray Donovan, I would have flown to her fucking house, and I would say, here's more Ambien, here's more fucking malt liquor. You just keep tweeting crazy shit until it's completely fucking snowed over.
Until that's the least of your problems. That's so true. I think most of the people tweeting out there are either don't have a job and they're just addicted to Twitter, or they're at work and they're just fucking off and they're supposed to be working. And so this is way more engaging to them because they're already stuck in this office, so they're making a sport out of like going after people or getting at people or communicating with people. They're making a sport out of it. It's flexing their intellectual muscles because they're, you know, trying to find a good argument to your point that makes you fucking stupid. It's fucking
I
fascinating.
mean, we've all done it. I love Twitter trolling. You know, but when it's stupid, just like fucking with people.
Well, you were trolling.
Enemy's FX going online, Commander. Let's take him out.
You were trolling.
Hostile is down.
But you were
Nothing else
trolling
showing up on my scanner,
child
Commander.
molesters.
All targets
Oh yeah,
destroyed.
on AOL Instant Messenger those days. Yeah, that's the book I made a best of. The book is honestly that was the funniest shit I've ever written.
What year was this?
It was the late '90s. Like when I did the Aristocrats. And they go, you just make up the joke however you want it. I just took verbatim stuff I did baiting pedophiles.
Right.
I just used the shit I was doing fucking with them.
That's right. I forgot about your page. It was like you had a website, right?
They had a website, and they had stopped doing it because they got bored with it. So it was like fucking Huckleberry Finn beating the fence for, oh hey, we'll get you to. I asked them, hey, can I do this and submit them to your site? I don't know how we had that much fucking time. I would spend 14-hour days just trying to get a fucking full one because you get one that went halfway through and the guy bails out because he figures out you're fucking with him and it's not printable. Like, how did I have that much time? I remember spending 12 hours on like free poker sites playing poker and then trolling the people because you have a you can chat while you play poker and then fucking with people and just being an asshole. And how did I have 14 fucking? I
didn't have a job.
I still don't have a job, and I still have probably that much free time. But now I'm successful, so I feel like I have to keep doing something productive.
Well, you're also wiser. You realize like how much time you actually invented versus what you got out of it. You know, how many different pedophiles did you try to contact for one of them? Start talking about
Well, you have to wait for them to contact you. That's the point. Because you have your profile set up. I'm a 13-year-old girl, like hot, talk with older men.
Oh, you wrote that?
Yeah, however you set it up. I mean, it's written cleverly, so you're not getting other fucking 13-year-old kids talking to you. And, but just the amount of time fucking off and having fun with it.
There's a funny story that I heard about a undercover DEA agent who moved in to try to arrest another undercover DEA agent. And they were playing each other back and forth against each other, and they didn't know that both of them were cops the entire time. Big fucking assholes. Just wasting money. Investigating each other. So fucking stupid. Both sides undercover. What the fuck, man?
Enemy is eliminated, Commander.
Trump started talking.
Nothing else showing up on my scanner, Commander. All targets destroyed.
If you really wanted to get people on the side, I think what he would do is start drugs legal and start saying, listen, folks, there's a reason why there's a problem in Mexico. When you talk to real economists and real advisors.
You were talking about that on stage last night.
Yeah. The problem is the drug. Make drugs legal.
I was thinking about that, but first, meth is a fucking. It's just such a fucking. Yeah.
It's a ruthless drug. But I think part of the reason why it's so fucked is it's a big part of the reason it's fucked up is because it's regulated, it's measured, you can go buy this whiskey at any corner store, right? Drink that whole thing if you weigh 100 pounds. You're dead.
I was thinking about that. If I did run for mayor, I'd have like they have the gun exchange programs.
You have a meth exchange?
Meth for mushrooms.
Control transferred, Commander.
That's a great exchange.
Yeah, give them good drugs. They're doing this because it's cheap and available. Well, get them on good drugs.
That's actually a really good way to purchase it. Wasn't one of the things that Hunter S. Thompson said when he's running for sheriff in Lincoln County? He said, any drug worth taking shall never be sold, and we'll put stocks in the middle of the city to lock up dishonest drug dealers. So drugs should be free. Arrest drug dealers. I think if we made everything legal, we'd have real problems, for sure, for quite a long period of time. The question is whether or not you have enough resources to parent your kids to keep those problems from happening to your family, whether or not you have enough self-control to keep yourself from being one of those problems when drugs become legal and accessible. But then once it's settled down, from there forward, we'd be moving in a way healthier place, and you essentially take all of the money out of the cartel. They're not making any money anymore, and then they're not going to be this murderous gang of psych. It's going to take a while for things to dissipate. But look what they did to Colombia. I mean, Colombia used to be fucking crazy, and now you can go there, and it's supposed to be really nice. You go to Bogota, it's supposed to be a really nice place. It's safe.
I want to go to South America, and I can't. I mean, yeah, South America is the only continent I haven't been to. Antarctica. There's nothing. I've never found a place that looks like I want to go.
Argentina looks badass.
Really?
Yeah. It's Argentina's near the glacier. It's fucking beautiful down there. Yeah.
I know Rhodes talks highly about it, but he's Argentinian.
Is he?
He's he's got family down there.
Yeah. Look, there's some fucking beautiful spots in this country, in this world. But South America, the weirdest thing is like how much jungle it is. If you look at how much of like Bolivia and Brazil, how much of it is actual jungle. You're like, holy shit. Like, no wonder why these people
But
down
almost every one of them has some kind of fucking rebel army shit going on and kidnapping it. Like, there's nothing that seems safe. Like Costa Rica, you know you're probably not going to have a lot of issues.
Right.
But everything I've looked up
I was on the beach in Costa Rica with my kids and dude offered me coke. I was walking, holding hands with a 5-year-old. Dude was offering me coke. I'm like, hey, not right now, brother. Not right now. It's just like, I just get you whatever you want, Gringo. You know, you come down here to party. I know you don't live here, motherfucker. Come here for a good time.
Where'd you go?
I don't remember, man. It was a couple of years ago. But we drove to a couple of different places in Costa Rica.
Did you fly into San Jose or Liberia?
Liberia.
All right.
And then we went to the rainforest and did the zip lining. Dude, I heard
Affirmative.
thing.
Scanning for hostile contact, Commander.
Honeymoon couple in Roatan.
Yeah, they crashed into each other. Killed the guy.
Yeah, so one of them got stuck, and the other guy is coming down. It's like a fat kid in a fucking a water slide and gets stuck in the tube, and then the next one comes down and smashes it.
You're going so fast, too. You're going so fast.
I did that once, just to say I did something the first time I went to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
That's enough. After that, I'm happy. Fat on a boogie board.
Yeah, I did it once, too, and I kept thinking, when did they check this one? This one's a mile long. How did they check this one?
Not a strong work ethic in Costa Rica either.
No. Those dudes who work there, who are just climbing up and hitching people onto those things, like, they're a little too comfortable. These people are a little too comfortable hanging out in the trees. A little too casual. Too casual about that.
One of the scariest things I've ever done is the cab ride from Jaco to San Jose in the capital, and they're fucking speeding around what should be like 15-mile-an-hour curves, and there's an ox and a cart in the fucking middle of the road, and you're just like, there's a head-on collision coming down. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that I used to always be fascinated by Bourdain's show was his willingness to continue to go to these places where you had to take these trucks down these dirt roads. You look out the window and you see a sheer cliff, and up ahead there's a fucking landslide. Now they got to bring in a tractor to move the rocks away from the landslide. Oh,
God damn it, Vietnam, where you're in the cab from the airport, and there's just a sea, like a sturgis of Vietnamese people. They're all on this sea of motorcycles and scooters, and like you're literally moving in your seat like they're gonna hit it, and somehow it works like Cirque du Soleil.
City?
That might be the view from where I was staying. I was staying in the hotel where they have the iconic picture of the last helicopter, CIA helicopter, landing, taking off from the roof of the hotel, and people are like climbing to be the last person on. That was the hotel we were at. Where that helicopter was landing is now a rooftop bar. And that was the hotel we did the gig. And if you're adventurous, if you're Tom Rhodes, I'm sure it's fantastic. If you're me, where you're terrified to go out of the hotel, no, not at all. That rooftop bar is great. Yeah, that's where he had made the president.
Yeah.
Obama. That's right. That's the Obama president.
You see what
I love when people say, well, when you complain about something and they go, yeah, well, Obama did the same thing and no one said it after. Well, I didn't know, and that's not the point. It's like when you make a point about an issue, it's not a right thing where you're actually defending a person or no, this is fucked up and wrong. Well, Obama did it. Well, that's still fucked up and wrong.
Yeah.
I think Obama's a really fucking cool guy as a personality. But I'm sure Bill Clinton did horrible fucking things and, like increased sentencing for fucking drug stuff and what. Yeah, but he was a good personality and I don't give a fuck.
Imagine being a guy or a girl that's supposed to be paying attention to every single issue that's going on in this country and making decisions about all of it and doing it all, investigating every single issue perfectly, getting all the right advice from all the advisors, carefully considering each and every step. There's no way they can. There's no way the president really knows what's going on with all the different problems in this country. There's no fucking way.
No.
Impossible.
If we just became a cool country like Norway, and just close all the bases around the world, don't be world police. We're just gonna be a fun country like fucking Iceland.
Right.
I just bring all the troops back and no more. You know what? Go ahead with we're disarming. You guys, I think shit would calm down. I think the world would calm down.
As long as we kept our guns. As long as we keep our weapons, keep the same amount of people in the military, bring them back home, make them exercise here. The problem is as soon as any one superpower drifts away, we leave it back. Another superpower trying to rise up. That's the big fear. That's what the big military is. When it's strong, someone else will become strong.
So give it a shot. If it doesn't work out. And I don't know how you can take any president seriously. Now, as we're aging and put time in perspective, 4 years is nothing.
That's
so
the last
I'm
of
going to
them.
make a
Almost
deal with you.
destroyed.
And 4 years later, there's going to be another asshole who goes, nah, never mind. So
Right.
scrap that. I think a dictator's not a bad thing as long as he's a good one.
Yeah, you have
Like
a
you don't-
benevolent dictator. That's what
Benevolent
you want,
dictator.
like a monk.
No, I dictate we all have a good time. Fucking 15-hour work week.
Well, here's the real question. The United States was founded because people had decided they didn't like the way things were running in Europe. They didn't like monarchies. They didn't like being under the rule of a king or a queen. They wanted to do it by elected officials. They wanted to have a representative democracy or a representative democratic republic. They wanted to figure out something new. So they came over here and did it. What would be the resistance? What if, say, like, everybody tried to do what they did up in Oregon and start a new country somewhere? people are like, fuck this. We're gonna go to this spot. Look, global warming is clearing off some nice swatches of land in Antarctica. We're just gonna move up there. It's fucking beautiful and green. Just fuck it. We're done. We're done. And then over there, we're gonna barely have an army, and you know, just have a bunch of dudes look on the lookout with guns. Make sure we don't get robbed, and that's it. And you know, healthcare, yeah, we'll pay for that. Education, yeah, we'll pay for education. Yeah, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Let's have
and
a little bit
everyone's
of
going to
money
have
piled
19
in.
fucking kids and ruin it.
Damn, that's the problem, right?
Overpopulation.
But how long would it take to overpopulate Greenland?
Well, that's what they were trying to do. Yeah, I looked into Greenland as a weird place to go visit. Iceland is fantastic. It's just a little dull. That's the problem with all these, best place to live is Norway and, Scandinavia and Iceland. But there is it's kind of there. Everyone's nice. It's like going to fucking, northern Minnesota and everyone's nice and there's no excitement. There's no
A buddy of mine that's just said that
adrenaline.
in Montana. He said he was living in Bozeman, and I said, "Do you love Bozeman?" He said, "I saw a bunch of boring white people that just they're really into bikes.
Yes.
They're really into biking.
And they
being
have
fit."
great calves.
That's what he said.
Great
Bunch of
calves
boring,
and tans.
boring white people. But I mean, that's one of the good things about what you do is that you can be in your town and then you can go other places.
Yeah.
But you always have that town. Versus if you get stuck, like we were talking about people that are just living in Columbus, Ohio, their whole life, not to pick on Columbus, but St. Louis, whatever, name a city. Versus someone who travels around all over the place. The same can be said about someone who lives in LA. If you grow up here and you think this is the world, this crazy, congested slab of humans piled on top of each other. No, the rest of the world. So there's some spots where you can go to. You ever been to Idaho? You do,
I
Boise.
lived in Idaho.
Did you?
Yeah, I lived in cabin on the South Fork of the Payette River. Okay. 55 miles north.
There's some lakes up there. This is too good. It seems like you should have to pay to be restricted access. It's fucking gorgeous up there.
Well, I was 22 when my wife left me. Moved to Boise just because it sounded funny. I was doing that fraud telemarketing, so I could do it anywhere there's a phone.
Right.
I'm in business, and then after we moved to Boise, and immediately my wife left me for my best friend. We all moved out there
Hostile
together,
down.
and then
All
my
targets
other buddy that
destroyed.
moved
We're
with
in the
us
clear,
couldn't
Commander.
handle the stress, so he went back to Vegas. So I moved all my shit to Boise, and within 2 weeks I'm alone. So I moved up to
man.
this fucking. I bought a cabin, like a for sale by owner. Like I didn't get a loan. I'm just gonna give you. It was. What do you call it? I just signed a contract and I'll pay you. I didn't go through a bank.
Right. Owner finance.
Owner finance. And little cabin at 2 bars in town. You're either a long branch guy or you're the dirty shame guy. And I was a dirty shame sort of guy. And I would drive back and forth because in a small town they open around noon, but not necessarily at noon.
How old are you now?
22. That's the there's no fucking chicks there.
So you
I would drive back and forth. So Jolene showed up to open, so it's 12:15. I've been just driving back and forth, waiting for her to open, and I would have lasted 6 months.
you there by yourself?
Owner finance. Yeah, at one point my buddy that moved back to Vegas came up and he was there for a couple nights. But we get on the phone just enough to pay our bar tab. In fact, my bar tab I traded out like furniture when I bailed 6 months later. I traded Jolene like my
Enemy is
furniture in the
eliminated,
cabin
Commander.
for my bar tab. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
So you could set your own hours when you're doing that scam telemarketing stuff? You just did it whenever you wanted to?
No,
And they just got, like, you clocked in? You got paid by
no,
the
I was
hour?
just doing it out of my cabin. Just pick up the phone. I had leads I stole from Vegas, and
And what did you do? Like, how did that work?
you call up businesses, and then you had to pitch, and you won one of these awards, and you just have to buy this many you know, pens, like ad specs, advertising specialties this month. Hey, Joe, you won a big award, and all you have to do is make a small purchase of these mugs with your business name on them, the Joe Rogan podcast, and you're guaranteed to win this big award that's worth way more.
Wow, so it's just a total scam.
Yeah. But cleverly phrased so to stay in that gray area of legal. Where like...
I knew a dude who had a really interesting scam. He had a scam where they were making, it was a company that would allow you to fix your credit. So they would give you a line of credit. And you would buy things and then pay off the credit, and it would boost your credit back. So if you had fucked up credit, it was allowing you to fix your credit. But the catch was, the only things that you could buy with their credit card was things from their catalog. So
my soul to the company store. Yeah, I get.
You know those things? So they had these catalogs.
I don't know that scam, but I'm seeing where it's going.
With stuff. But say if something cost, you know, whatever it was, a toenail clipper, cost like $3 at the grocery store. There it's $25. So if you want to buy it, you're giving them a giant chunk of profit. So they would ship these terrible little items, and it would really actually boost these people's credit. It actually did work. So it was enough, but it was a total scam. So the only shit they can buy with your credit cards is stuff from your catalog, and everything's marked up through the fucking roof. And this dude made millions on that. Made millions.
That's what aspects were. The products, like when I was working for a company originally, we had the black matte pen with the gold metal Florentine trim and 5 lines of your ad copy on it, and we'd be selling these fucking 25-cent pens for like $4 a piece. So it was the scam that I was just getting into when I started doing comedy, and then bailed out and went full-time in comedy, was the invention ones, like the George Foreman.
Oh, like the grill?
Yeah. Do you have an invention? And it's just such a great scam because ego's involved, and it's good. You know, everyone thinks they should be on Shark Tank. Those kind of people, and you go, I can't say, but I think what you have here, and then there's a multi-level where
invent help. There it is. Submit your invention idea to companies.
I'm not saying invent help is a scam. I'm saying scams of that. Do you have an invention? And then there's a step one is we're going to do a patent research to see, and this is going to cost you this. But honestly, Phil,
Copy, Commander. Initiating telepresence
I
now.
can't say that this is $1 million. I know I have a feeling. It's the way you say it. And you could just, like, it would be
Roger.
so
Entering
easy
defensive mode.
just starting
Scanning for
to do
hostile.
that.
Did you feel
I didn't feel awful until years later. But I never did get it. I was just starting to do that. Like the other scams, no, I never felt that. They say, oh, they're ripping off old people. No, we were ripping off young, greedy fucking people that think they're gonna fucking get something for nothing. And small businesses.
What if someone did have a good invention?
I don't know. I never got that far into it. I was just starting where I go, fuck this. I don't have time. I'm doing comedy. I got an offer to move to Phoenix. As a house MC. Like 6 months. Yeah, 6 months after. Fell in love with a girl in Phoenix. Moved down there. Got a job as a house MC. You know, where I was getting a free hotel room. The club was in a Days Inn, I think it was. So I got a free hotel, so I had a place to live, and I could do comedy 5 nights a week, and talk to the gay chef loved me and would give me free food.
You do shows in Bisbee now.
I have other people come to Bisbee. I filmed my last, it's a throwaway special, but I just did it like as an experiment in the funhouse. basically this room. Maybe not quite this big. It's an 18 by 20 box with a bar built and a little tiny stage in the corner. And I filmed. It's Pop-Off Vodka presents An Evening with Doug Stanhope. And we're selling it on VHS. I don't know if we're sold out, but the only physical copies of VHS.
Really?
Yeah. You can get it on Vimeo. It's digital. But
Right.
I took about an hour's worth of material that I think there's only 20 minutes on the VHS. Just the bit about Pop-Off Vodka Presents, where we tried to get sponsorship with Pop-Off because it's fucking low-grade shitty vodka, and I thought that would be a funny sponsor. And Brian reached out and through channels they said the Pop-Off wouldn't touch Doug Stanhope with a 10-foot pole.
That's what they said?
So I have this giant 20-minute fucking bit about it. And I'm gonna be sponsored by Pop-Off Vodka against their will, and I'm gonna fucking make a special called Pop-Off Vodka Presents, and I'm gonna keep doing it until they give me a cease and desist. But I took an hour of material that got cut out of other specials where I go, I really like that bit, I just had to cut it down to an hour. I'm gonna put this out as the Pop-Off Vodka Presents.
That's hilarious. Do they know?
Haven't gotten a cease and desist.
I
We
guess they
sell
probably figured
t-shirts.
it's
Pop-Off Vodka
No, you
Presents.
didn't.
Yeah, fuck yeah. You got a special. You're gonna tell me you're a fucking rot gut fucking
They wouldn't touch you with a
hobo
10-foot
tranquilizer fucking
Hobo
liquid.
tranquilizer. Hobo is always the best word to use.
I think in the bit, I think I say hobo plasma. And it's, oh no, it's,
Hobo plasma.
it was a bit that but I want to experiment more with that. And we've had a bunch of comics, like Olivia Grace, who opened last night. She came down, they'd be like, Bisbee for road comics, going to LA, you know, I'm going to do gigs in Austin. It's kind of on the way, so we've had a
Right.
bunch of comics down and get drunk and go, hey, let's fucking do a show. Because 15 people in that room, it's tiny enough that that's a real audience, and we've never had a bad show there.
That's
like it just,
hilarious.
so yeah, I want to film stuff. I want to start experimenting with doing like just putting out singles. Like my bits are fucking like, you have bits that are fucking 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like Hedberg. I don't have
Right,
one-liners,
right.
so I can take, you know, a 16-minute bit and just sell that as a single. And fucking 99 cents on iTunes, or I don't know how that side of.
It's not a bad idea. Probably, you know, there's a lot of people that do their podcasts with subscription. Like Nick DiPaolo just released his new podcast, and he's doing a subscription service. We have to pay to listen to it. Can do it.
That's one of the things when I retire is figure out shit like Patreon I've heard about, and you can
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, you just get people to give you money.
Yeah, that's nice.
They just give you money.
Just give me money.
They just give you money. Like, I really support you on Patreon. Like, there's a lot of people that do that. They just do stuff. Like, please support my Patreon. Oh, please give me money. Yeah, I don't really like working. I like just talking in front of this YouTube camera. So if you like me talking, please support my Patreon.
But when everyone talks about their new hour, I'm doing usually an hour and a half now, and I'm not doing, you know, 5 different bits that I really like that I just got bored with, but I still haven't recorded.
Right.
So I could put out.
A chunk of those, like, leftovers.
Yeah, no one's buying a fucking
Yeah.
DVD anymore. They're
Right.
getting everything digital.
That's true.
So, yeah, why not just, hey, this is a great 20 minutes. I'm tired of it. Let's put it out.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you could do YouTube Red too, where you do it through subscriptions. There's a bunch of different ways to do it now. It's there's more options every day too. It's becoming interesting. And I know Amazon releases a lot of stuff now too.
Yeah.
They're releasing a lot of stand-up. It's really kind of amazing there's only one YouTube. That's what's really amazing. I mean, Vimeo does exist and it is good, but in terms of like when people think of like one platform where you get videos on, you really only think of YouTube.
Yeah, and monetizing, I don't know how any of that works.
Jamie can tell you. It's not that complicated. Yeah, a lot of people do it.
And we're gonna have to fucking start doing video for our podcast.
Yeah, how come you don't like doing that?
I just hate being on camera. Like here, you have it subtle enough. I remember your old studio where I'm looking at my face on a giant TV. I remember tripping at that bad day.
Yeah, we shouldn't have done that way. That way was dumb, because when we realized somewhere along the line that when they were up on that screen, like we would look at ourselves on that screen, it would make you think about it. And then somewhere along the line, I said, let's stop doing this. It just doesn't.
But
seem like the
even
right
if
way
it's
to do
just
it.
a couple of GoPros.
Yeah, it's weird. It's an added unnecessary element. You're thinking about it. I don't think about that camera or that camera.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, but
God, I remember the first time I did your podcast, and we were sitting on a couch. So we're side by side, so it's awkward.
Yeah. And it was uncomfortable. Couches are uncomfortable. To like sit and talk, like sit up and talk, like you're sinking into them. And it's just.
But yeah, you want to look across.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be 9 years in December. Yeah, look at
Delay
you.
P, Bravo Alpha November. Observe docking reservation protocol. Submit a request before
Crazy.
landing. Request
Yeah, that couch was in Ari's house for
Well,
a
you
while.
still have to make me hard sign.
Yeah. That was offensive. Too offensive for Comedy Central. Yeah, you're doing, so your fun house is like, you have an extra house. So you have like your main house where you live in, and then you have the fun house that has a bar.
And then we have a guest house.
And you
It's like
bought a
300
couple
square feet.
houses in town too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we got a few.
You're becoming your own Oregon cult. You like just slowly buy up the town.
Yeah.
Start renting it out to people that you like.
That's what the Free State Project. Remember that? The
Yeah.
whole libertarian movement to try to get everyone to move to one state.
Yeah.
And that way we can all vote. Because we get 1% of the vote nationally, but if we all lived in one state, then we could. Yeah, then they picked New Hampshire. I'm not going to fucking New Hampshire.
Fuck you. It's just too hard to get laid up there.
It's too fucking cold.
It's too cold.
I haven't seen winter in many years.
I remember Fitzsimmons got kicked out of the gig up there, and they had told him not to drive at night because there's so many moose on the road. And, they kicked him out of the gig for swearing. They fired him. When he got there, they had his bags packed when he got off stage, and they said, "You're fired. Get out," because you're supposed to be there for the weekend. And they made him drive home.
I'm guessing this is a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we were both starting out.
Fucking Fitzsimmons is a hothead.
Oh, he's a hothead.
He's
yeah.
I never saw that in him.
Oh yeah, he's Irish. He's always been a hothead. As long as
I
I've
did
known
his
him.
podcast a few years ago, and he almost came to fisticuffs with a fucking parking attendant. Like, fuck you. You want to fucking like.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And his face just fucking beat red. He was gonna beat the fuck out of the guy. Just ignored me. He was so angry. Like, I'm just waiting there to do his podcast, and he just blows by me like I'm a problem too. Like, fuck, just enraged.
That's hilarious.
Psycho.
Yeah.
And then we get on the podcast, and he's fine.
He's a professional.
Yeah. I
He
fucking
knows
love
how to be
Fitzsimmons.
I do too.